So, as expected,
that didn't work. Hello, welcome to Dermist Mondays. I'm Ali.
I'm Craig.
This week, Craig and I are going to be looking at programming the SPD SX for some backing tracks for Ollie to play at our next rehearsal. So we're probably just going to take one track and strip it back, get whatever we need on the backing track, and then figure out how to put a click on it.
For backing tracks, I think a lot of people use a laptop and use software like Ableton, the specific live software for backing tracks. We've decided to use backing tracks because some of the songs have a lot of synth parts. We don't have a keyboard player, and
not yet.
It's a kind of last resort, really. The long-term plan is to hopefully minimise backing tracks as much as possible, keep it live, keep it all real so we can improvise and do things. But for the time being, going to put it all on the SPD SX, try and add live sounds where we can, one wee bit at a time. But to start us off, we're going to have to figure out how to get the click track going through headphones only. And I think we're going to have to make click tracks that sync up with the tracks that we're going to be playing, and then we need to link them together so that they trigger at the same time and stuff like that.
Usually what we've done in the past is split a backing track into two mono channels, so that one side of the stereo channel is the backing track and one side of the stereo track is the click track. But there's loads of bands that use backing tracks all the time.
Yeah.
One of my favourite bands, Goldfrapp, the drummer uses a click as well and plays a lot of digital sounds as well as sort of hybrid drum kit sounds as well. So yeah, we're going to play about with this and see if we can get something that Ollie can try out at the next rehearsal. Yeah. He's not with us tonight because he's
not feeling well, so
feeling great.
Hope you're feeling better soon, Ollie. The thing is with the SPD is it's actually really old and it's actually really simple. Mm-hmm. Like it's really low tech, to be honest. And it's quite footery to get it going, and I can see already there's going to be issues getting it going, I think. But once it's set up, it's fairly bulletproof, which is a good thing.
That was always a good thing about the old Akai samplers. I used to have an old Akai S5000, but it was super difficult to navigate and program sounds into. It had an internal card to load in your own sounds, but really difficult to get it to work with other bits of equipment. But the SPD SX should be a kind of combination of those two things. It's a great piece of kit, and as Craig was saying, once we've got it working, it should be fairly bulletproof. So we're going to try it out and we'll see how we get on.
Oh yeah, we still need to plug it in. It's not it's not USB powered. It shows you how often we've actually used it in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Just assume.
Let's try and plug it in, eh?
Well, you just assume that everything's USB powered these days, don't you?
Mm.
But it's not.
Sometimes I wish.
Right, so we need to figure out what we're taking out, what we're keeping in.
I was thinking about keeping the hi-hat in at the chorus as well. See that? What is this one? Not that one. It must be this one.
Yeah, I would keep the trap hi-hat in as well.
This is where Ollie's screaming, "No! No!"
Take the hi-hat out.
Yeah, let's take it out now, because it's not essential, is it?
Okay.
Right, so
this took us a wee while to figure this out. So
in the track window here, mixer window, I I was set on this, and I clicked that, and that opened up the Klopfgeist, which is the click track, which by default is muted unless you've got this up here.
Oh yeah, make sure you got your metronome switched.
So obviously we've had it off because the last time we were doing this was to record, so put it back on. The only thing we need to make sure we do is when we bounce it down the backing track that it's off, and then
bounce down one just with the click.
Yeah.
We're gonna have 2 tracks. We're gonna have one stereo mix of the backing track, and we're gonna have one stereo mix of the click track.
Just seeing how long the reverb lasts at the end. And cats. So, Ollie, if you're watching, you're getting a count of 4, and then a 1, 2,
1, 2, 3, 4. You're doing it f***ing wrong.
No!
What we really need to do is we need to actually consolidate all of our logic files onto the one hard drive. So, because I've got some of the logic files on my computer, and Craig's got half of the logic files on his computer. So when we get a wee external hard drive, that means we've got a backup of all the master logic files, and it'll be a really useful thing to have on the road as well if anything goes wrong with the SPD SX.
It's dry though. How dry is thing to do is that?
What?
Just file management is so boring.
File management is boring. You should see Craig's file management though. It's disastrous.
I've got my desktop and my downloads and the headset. Nah, I've got a file for all the logic ones. A folder. Actually, a logic folder.
A tidy desktop is a happy desktop.
So
my
it's a
motto.
boring one. A feature of the SPD SX software is that you can name your kits, but you only get a couple of characters, so it's like the old arcade days.
How many characters do you get in that?
Oh, I'll try again.
In my drawer. Why did they limit the character
Because it's
numbers in your kit?
the RAM on this must be like the smallest antiquated bit of kit, really. But they still sell it. It still sells, so
It's really frustrating.
They don't upgrade these things. Like, see, to buy one of these, it's like talking like 400-500 quid, and it's look how like the software looks like it's from Windows 98, and it rarely works right, to be honest. Aye, so it's that's going to the master out. This is going to phones only. So save that. Look how long it takes to save. Wow.
It's not a great app, is it?
It's really antiquated. But the simplicity of it makes it less likely to crash or something like that. Hopefully. In theory.
So I think we've figured it out. There's 9 pads on the SPD SX, and we've assigned the backing track to pad 7 and the click to track 9. You also need to do some fiddling about with the app on the desktop to assign the backing track to come out of the stereo out of the SPD SX, and the backing track only to come out of the headphone output. But we're also going to be linking those 2 pads so that when you hit pad 7, it'll also trigger the click track on pad 9 as well. So hopefully we've got that figured out. We'll soon find out in a wee minute. Headphones.
Behind you.
They're behind you.
In my dreams. Oh, so it's triggered both. That's a start. But I can only hear
The click track.
Oh, no. I've got both.
So we've figured out how to get the backing track and the click into the SPD SX, but are you getting the click and the sample?
Ah!
That should still be louder.
Maybe it's just the headphones.
No, look, that's the level.
Oh, the levels are pretty low. So we bounced down the tracks and we've put them into the SPD SX, but they're very, very quiet and they should be a lot louder than that, and the click should be a lot louder. It needs to be super loud for Ollie to be able to play along to. So I'm going to try and bounce them down with a bit more of an aggressive compressor and limiter and see how that goes. So,
As expected,
that didn't work.
it didn't work how we thought it was going to work.
There's obviously a simpler way to do this, and I know that I think you can beat match the samples that you've imported into the SPD SX, but we can't figure out how to do that yet.
No, we could sit and do it, but then you don't have as much control over volume, believe it or not.
Yeah. So the only drawback is that Ollie will probably have to have some of the backing track. Well, he doesn't really need to, because we can turn it right down if we really want to. So we have actually figured out a good way of starting to rehearse and play with the SPD SX. Ollie should have a click with a wee bit of the backing track, and we should be able to have the backing track coming out of the master outputs of the Roland as well. So
The thing, our main issue is gain. Like, we want the backing track to be loud coming out the main thing, the main channel, but we can't get that without turning everything down in the headphones as well. So
it means that the click track was down.
yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is just take advantage of the fact that a DI box has a gain boost. We can boost the gain on this as well.
We've got a headphone amplifier which
Yeah.
we can bring along as well. It'd just be nice to not need to have that as well, but yeah, so we've figured it out. We'll do the same for the rest of the tracks eventually and we'll take it into the rehearsal studio and we'll try it out. Looking forward to it. Yeah,
You sounded really like you were looking forward to it there.
looking forward to it. No, it should be good because we really missed not having the backing tracks in our first rehearsal with Ollie, and so it'll be nice to be able to try these things out. So yeah,
It's a start.
I think having good headphones and good in-ears make a big difference as well. So we've got some good Shure in-ear headphones, so try them out. So
Yeah, I mean, if they're isolating the sound from us, that's half the battle.
yeah, don't really want to use them.
No.
Anyway, that's been us for this week. Thanks for watching. You've been watching Dermist Mondays. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell. We hope you've been enjoying this content, and we'll see you next week.
And remember to check out the album and the link below.
We always say that.
I know, you need to say
Check
that.
out the album.
We've made an album.
Yeah.
And the reason we're doing YouTube is so that people listen to the album.
Go and check out the album. It's in the link below.
And that's that.
That's that.
See ya!
Bye! And cut.